Alright, let's dive into today's story. Imagine it's 1958. You're hanging out in your favorite airport lean-to, surrounded by pilots who just yesterday felt pretty cool bragging about their latest cross-country trip in a fabric-covered plane. But today, everybody's buzzing about something entirely different. The moon. Yep, humanity is seriously considering landing there, and all your pilot buddies are scratching their heads, trading flying stories for hypothetical chats about lunar landings. Back then, it felt as wild as talking about living on Mars feels today. You know, that slightly skeptical excitement we all get now. Thinking about people setting foot on Mars, building habitats, maybe even starting a Martian coffee shop. Well, that's exactly how our aviation pals felt about the moon back in 1958. Sure, it's technically doable, but really, humans hopping around on the lunar surface might as well talk about vacationing on Saturn's rings. But here's the kicker. These guys had some pretty solid reasoning. Matthew J. Bruccoli, an aviator writing in Flying magazine back then, pointed out something fascinating. Getting to the moon was technically easier than Columbus sailing blindly towards America. Think about it. Columbus didn't have GPS. He was basically winging it. By 1958, we knew exactly where the moon was, 238,000 miles away, closer than some modern-day commutes feel. If you hopped in a slow train, you made it there in 4.5 months, flying commercial speeds, just 3 weeks, and with some speed demon rocket, well, less than a week. Of course, by 1969, humanity actually pulled it off when Neil Armstrong famously declared, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." The Apollo 11 mission not only succeeded, but also opened the doors to a series of lunar expeditions, with 12 astronauts eventually walking the lunar surface, conducting scientific experiments, and bringing back valuable moon rocks for study. The technology developed for Apollo, like miniaturized computers and advanced propulsion systems, significantly advanced fields ranging from computers to medicine. But Bruccoli wasn't worried about getting there. Nope, what really kept him up at night were legal battles. Imagine that, worrying less about fiery rocket engines and more about who gets to plant their flag and call dibs on the lunar surface. He envisioned lawyers lining up to squabble about lunar real estate, like neighbors fighting over property lines, except instead of arguing about backyard fences, we'd be arguing over moon rocks. He wondered if lovers everywhere would still swoon under a moon with ownership disputes. Picture it. A romantic evening disputed by thoughts of whether you're serenading your sweetheart under an American, Soviet, or even a neutral lunar property. Would declarations of love feel as sincere under a communist moon? Or perhaps, he joked, under a US 49th lunar state? Fast forward to today and we chuckle at that image. Yet we've got Mars in our sights with NASA, SpaceX, and several other private and international space agencies actively preparing for missions. SpaceX is dubiously developing a starship designed not just for lunar returns, but specifically with Mars colonization in mind. NASA's Perseverance rover is already exploring Mars, looking for signs of ancient life and experimenting with oxygen production from the Martian atmosphere. But honestly, are we any different when we talk about Mars? We dream about red deserts, futuristic cities under protective domes, and perhaps Martian tacos. Behind these dreams are challenges like radiation exposure during the 7th-month trip, the psychological stresses of living so far from Earth, and developing sustainable sources of food, water, and air. Yet lurking alongside those practical considerations are inevitable discussions of legal rights. Elon Musk planting SpaceX flags, or international agreements determining who governs these new territories. And let's not stop at Mars. Ambitious plans extend even further, to Jupiter's moons Europa and Callisto, Saturn's moon Titan, and possibly even asteroid mining ventures that promise valuable resources like precious metals and rare minerals. Will Martian dates feel different if you're technically standing on Musk Avenue in Amazon Prime City? Will love letters sound different coming from Titan's methane lakeside cafe? So next time someone gets too serious about Mars colonization, just remind them we've been through this before. Just like in 1958, we'll probably figure out the technical bits easy enough. It's the cosmic real estate agents, interplanetary lawyers, and maybe future coffee shop franchise disputes we should really worry about. Alright, time to get back down to Earth, but let's keep dreaming, laughing, and maybe planning a lunar vacation someday soon. After all, we've already handled the moon once. Mars, Europa, and beyond can't be that much harder, right?